I'm Yvette, and I'm the head of the Equal Opportunity Now, by any means necessary, Eon Bam slate, and I'm running for AFT president. 2 years ago, Eon Bam ran our first slate for union leadership, and we're back and we're fighting. That's because we're committed to first, telling the truth, and second, taking action to win. First, we gotta tell the truth. Since he was elected, the president's education policies have led to unprecedented attacks on public education and the gains of the civil rights movement. Arne Duncan's race to the top has failed, and so has he. Instead, he's privatized public schools, demoralized and forced out countless teachers, segregated and denied millions of Black, Latina, Latino, and immigrant students the right to public education. Our caucus pledges to do everything in our power to get rid of Arne Duncan and to end the new Jim Crow. Randy Weingarten and the current AFT leadership, they just keep trying to please and appease the powers that be instead of pleasing and fighting for our own members. And what they think they need to do is just follow the Democratic Party instead of making the Democratic Party and the politicians follow our union. Those in the AFT leadership now, they assume that our union is weak. They think the oppressed and working people are too weak to win, and they're wrong. Eon Bam believes the exact opposite because the rich and powerful are not the only people with the power to change history. Our union is strong, and we're not afraid to exercise our strength. We're committed to building the new civil rights and labor movement instead of relying solely on electoral politics. We've got to be bold, and we can't fear confrontation when across the nation, teachers are ready to fight. We've got to build strikes and mobilize mass direct action. In Chicago, teachers are in the perfect position to strike and save public education. Chicago teachers don't go to school that first day. It's the best time to strike. Teachers and students are already out. Right now, before the November elections, is when there's maximum pressure and leverage on the Democrats to make sure that they can't allow a protracted head-on struggle. Across the country, teachers were thrilled when Local 1 voted to authorize that strike, and now it's time to use it and to strike. The attacks started in Chicago, and they can end in Chicago, and we can end Arne Duncan as Secretary of Education. Regardless of what union leadership may say to not strike Chicago teachers, do it anyway, because the power is in your hands. You've got a historic responsibility to take that opportunity because you have this historic opportunity to save public education for all of us. Eon Bam's leadership has been instrumental to transforming struggles into victories. We forced Chancellor Bourgeois at UC Berkeley to resign by holding our ground, telling the truth, and refusing to stand down in the face of administration and police repression. We successfully defended anti-racist, pro-student teachers across the country who refused to teach to the test and instead demanded their right and fought for their right to teach critical thinking. And we led occupations and admissions offices of the UC system that forced those administrations to admit more Black and Latino students who've been rejected before. But we did it and we won. Because we know for our movement to be strong enough to defend public education, we've got to make sure that we fight and unite with this nation's strongest force. Those are the Latina, Latino, immigrant, and Black communities who are the strongest language, and our students and communities who look to us for leadership. If we'd led the Wisconsin teachers during that occupation in those struggles, we wouldn't have called everyone back into work and herded them in. We would have stayed out until we won, instead of losing unnecessarily. Vote for me, Yvette, for AFT president and the whole Eon Bam slate, and join us, because it's time for bold action